Macon County has a long, colorful, and sometimes turbulent history. From its organization on January 6, 1837, just 16 years after Missouri's admission to the Union, through the early days when the county seat was located in Bloomington, to the difficult and trying days of the Civil War. Macon County has honored its historic past while looking forward toward its bright future. At the center of this history is the Macon County Courthouse and Jail. The present courthouse was completed in 1865 after the Missouri legislature moved the county seat from Bloomington to Macon City in 1863 because of Confederate sympathies in the Bloomington area. The annex building was completed in 1879 and the county jail in 1909. These buildings all are over 100 years old now. While these great buildings have served the residents of Macon County well, time and changing needs have taken a toll. It's time to address the deficiencies in our courthouse buildings and in our jail.
In 2012, the Macon County Prosecutor's Office requested a grand jury be impaneled to review some old cases. The significance of that is that by Missouri law, whenever a grand jury is impaneled, it must inspect the condition of the jail and the treatment of the prisoners. The grand jury did inspect the jail and did investigate the condition of the prisoners, and they concluded that the condition of our jail was such that it was impossible to treat people accused of a crime with the dignity and the respect and the safety that they should receive as citizens of this country. And so they recommended, in fact, they gave us a directive that we were to condemn the jail, not repair it, not try to fix it or patch it up, but we were to shut it down.
Look at the existing jail that they have here. There's three things I see areas of deficiencies within the project. One, it's deficient in terms of meeting minimum jail standards. Two, it's deficient in terms of meeting modern code standards and accessibility requirements. And three, it just has structural issues that really mitigate against it being allowed to be remodeled or renovated into a new facility.
The walls are crumbling around us. As we sit here in this sheriff's office, the walls are bowing out. I'm afraid of what could happen at any certain time, whether it be a natural disaster or some type of other situation where the jail falls apart. And I don't want inmates, I don't want my staff in here at that time. We use the guidelines set forth by the American Correctional Association to operate this jail. This jail is no longer capable of functioning within those guidelines.
At least 3 times in the past 25 years, the issue of replacement or repair of the existing jail has come up. Each time, because of extenuating circumstances at the time, no progress was made and nothing moved forward. We believe as a commission that we can no longer put this issue off.
Our department has done a detailed analysis on what it would cost to house our inmates outside of the county. Not only house, but transport, care for it, and the associated cost that goes along with that. This figure is roughly $400,000 a year. That $400,000 figure will be approximately 80% of the annual debt service on the new jail courthouse project.
When I met with the commissioners about the grand jury's directive, they were ready for me. They'd been working on this problem for a couple of years, and in the course of figuring out what their options were, they discovered that the most cost-effective way of addressing the jail issue was to tie it in to the issues of the other buildings.
The courthouse facilities are comprised of 3 buildings: the historic courthouse, the historic annex, and building number 3, which accommodates the assessor's office. We reviewed these facilities and found 2 primary concerns. First, public safety, and second, access to all county offices. One issue with the historic courthouse is that there are 3 public entrances. This makes it difficult to secure the building on court day.
Currently, inmates, when they have their court day, they leave the current jail, they're walked across the public yard, through the courthouse, are running into public all the time on their way to court, and it makes for a potentially very unsafe environment.
Current design standards call for 1 secure public entrance. This increases safety for all the citizens and staff in the courthouse building. The annex itself is fully not compliant with accessibility. So therefore, if you're a citizen of Macon County that is restricted by stairs, you're not actually able to access that courtroom or the circuit clerk's office at all.
The biggest issue for us is space. because everything comes from the issue of space. The architects, when they did our assessment, said that we needed twice as much square footage as we have. My bigger concern is being able to serve the kids and the families in a safe and respectful way. I think we could do a much better job if my officers had an office where they could close their door and meet with folks on more of a private basis.
Building 3 doesn't have any significant deficiencies, other than the fact it's just not big enough for the county's current and future needs.
The Macon County Commissioners decided to create a plan to construct a new jail and renovate the existing courthouse facility.
There's two things that are important in jail design today. One is to minimize the movement, and the other is to maximize visibility. Current facility obviously is linear design. Staff can only see in areas if they're looking at a monitor or if they actually walk back in the area. It's actually a design that goes back to the Tower of London days.
Before Randolph County built their new jail, they had a similar setup to this one here. And of course, that's where, the incident happened several years ago and the jailers ended up getting shot. I don't want that to happen here, obviously, and nobody does. And we want to take those precautions before it actually happens.
In the new jail designs we have, it's a modular design where the staff is located in one central location. They have views into all of the inmate areas, the housing areas, the recreational areas, the secure corridor areas.
Our solution includes an addition that joins the courthouse and the annex. Currently, the courthouse is the only building that has an elevator. By connecting these two buildings, we're allowed accessibility to all the offices within the courts complex. Once this addition is complete, the south entrance will become the single secure entrance into the courthouse. Then the sheriff's office will occupy the majority of the first floor. Therefore, all people accessing courts will have to pass through the secure entrance supervised by the sheriff's office. The new jail will be constructed north of the courthouse, which will allow the sheriff's office to simultaneously provide security for the courts as well as operations for the jail. In addition, the sheriff's office will be able to escort prisoners directly from the second floor of the jail into the courtrooms.
When you go into the facility after it's done, what you're going to find sealed concrete floors, steel bunks, 12-gauge security hollow metal doors. This isn't the Hilton by any means. It's safe, it's secure, it's efficient.
There's a trend overall in the state to separate county and courts functions. And what that means is there are offices in the county that are associated traditionally with the courts, and there are other functions that are more day-to-day operations for the county. And the reason those are separated is because there's a heightened need for security for the courts. And you don't necessarily want to have that security for the county functions.
Once a basic plan for the jail and courthouse were developed, the county commission then appointed a citizens committee made up of individuals from all areas of the county. The committee was asked to review the basic plan, financing options, and other information that the commission had compiled.
It's been an honor to serve on the committee as we've looked at the situation here in Macon County, and we've had a good cross representation of citizens from the Macon County community, and we've had a lot of frank and open discussions, and I think the whole committee has been very agreeable that this is a project that we really seriously need to consider and adopt for the future and well-being of Macon County.
Yeah, I had the privilege of serving on that committee, and we looked at all the details and information very closely, and everybody had a lot of questions, a lot of concerns, but I, for one, want to see the money invested back in the county and have a new facility and upgrade on the courthouse. I mean, our courthouse is structurally, it was checked out, it's still structurally very sound. Without question, I think this is the best plan they've come up with.
The Macon County Commissioners have voted unanimously to place a half-cent sales tax for construction of a new jail and courthouse renovations on the ballot for the April 8th election. The half-cent tax will serve as the revenue source to repay leasehold revenue bonds that will provide at least $7.6 million of upfront funding to the county. This half-cent tax will expire in 20 years or whenever the final payment occurs on the bonds, whichever comes first. The bonds are expected to be A-rated by Standard & Poor's and will be offered first to local investors. The earnings on the bonds to investors will be exempt from federal and state income taxes. Since the proposed half-cent sales tax can only be used for construction and improvements of the jail and courthouse, An additional quarter-cent sales tax will be on the April 8th ballot. This tax will be used to fund additional law enforcement operations for the Sheriff's Department. This tax will sunset in 10 years, but could be renewed by voters if the funds are still needed. The combined increase in sales tax will cost 75 cents for each $100 of purchases made in the county. Currently, Macon County has 3/4 cent sales tax that is expiring soon. If approved, collections on the half-cent construction sales tax and the quarter-cent law enforcement sales tax will begin on October 1st, 2014. It is important to recognize the existing quarter-cent county park capital improvement tax is expiring on September 30th, 2016. And the current half-cent Highway 36 transportation development sales tax is to end on December 31st, 2017. After January 1st, 2018, the total sales tax levied in Macon County will be the same as they are now. The additional sales taxes represent short-term increases for no more than 3 years.
By using a sales tax, which I believe is by far the best way to pay for this, is that over 60% of the revenue that comes in this county is outside the county. So that would help greatly in paying for this. And being in business here, especially out on the highway, we have a lot of our customers are outside of county customers.
According to data prepared by University of Missouri Extension, the new sales taxes would represent a monthly expense of about $4.26 for the average family in Macon County.
Regardless of the outcome of the election on April 8th, we must obey and honor the directive of the grand jury and close our jail.
And some of the issues that Macon County's been dealing with isn't different than a lot of counties have dealt with. It takes a while for a community to really embrace that and understand the situation, but obviously the county commission, the citizens committee, the grand jury has made that realization that it's time for something to be done.
If it's not now, when is it? You know, I mean, are we going to try again next year or the year after? Of course, we have to ask for public support.
Having been a pastor here for 35 plus years, we always wanted to make sure that we could meet our budgeted needs and that worked out. And our committee, working with the Macon County Commission, we have done the same thing. We're going to get the most bang for our bucks, and it's time to do this. It's time to go.
Overall, these totals come to about $400,000 a year, and over the next 20 years, that adds up to $8 million, which is more than is what we're proposing for this jail courthouse project. In 50 years, we could triple that number easily. At these current rates, this is what we're looking at. Those numbers will increase if we fail to do something now.
The hard facts are the day of reckoning has come for the county on this jail. We're going to have to make up our mind, do we want a jail or do we want to spend the money transporting the prisoners somewhere else?
As county residents, we are truly blessed. From one-room schoolhouses to our modern schools. From the old county poor farm to Lock Haven Nursing Home. From dirt roads to four-lane highways. Our taxpayers have always stepped up when the need arises. Today, we are trying to provide 21st century services out of buildings constructed at the end of the Civil War. It's time we made the necessary improvements so that we can provide for public safety and needed services for all our citizens.
Thanks for listening to our presentation regarding the proposed ballot initiative. We appreciate how supportive the citizens of Macon County have been in the approval of previous sales tax measures when a clear need is shown. John DeWiggins, Drew Belt, and other Macon County officials believe that the county has always kept its promises on how the money was to be spent and the improvements that were to incur. The project is very necessary in our opinion, and it is our duty as Macon County Commissioners to address the needs in a timely fashion. We hope the voters recognize on April 8th that an increase in the sales tax will only be in effect for a 3-year period. And when the 4-cent county park tax and a half-cent Highway 36 tax expires, the total sales tax payments are going to be the same as we are presently paying. We are fortunate in Macon County that research shows more than half of those sales taxes will be paid by visitors to our county. You are more than welcome to attend our County Commission meetings each Monday and Thursday from 9 till noon to ask us questions about this proposal.